All right, everybody, here we go. We got the 2025 F-150 STX extended cab Coyote. Had 366 on pump gas before and 398, 399 on E85. Only modification we made, you can see from here, we now have the Velocity catless headers installed. It's a little hard to see up in there. So there's not room to work on these things. They are a pain in the ass to install. But that's true for any headers, not just the Velocity ones. So you can kind of see the pipes coming underneath here, going up into there. So that's the change we made. We're gonna run the same tune and just see what the gains are by adding on the headers here first. All right, got her all loaded up on the dyno. Ready to flash the dyno mode tune on here really quick. And we'll make a rip and see what it makes. All right, everyone. Sorry for the noise. We got the air compressor going on the dyno. All the lights are on. You get your little beeping hang here. We're going to do a pull here. Like I said, this is just coming down off of that. Get first finish here. Okay. And what did we get? $391 and $441. That is some pretty impressive gains for just a set of headers. All right, hopefully you guys can see this. So there's the gains. Bone stock, 341, 384, tuned, we got it to 366 and 415. It now has a cold air intake and headers, and we're up to 391 and 441, and I haven't looked at the log to make any changes based upon the headers being installed on this tune. So those are some substantial gains getting this stuff on here. And if you look at this, in this case where I'm highlighting here, you can see before we were making about 334 at this point, and now we're making 330 or 377. So we're talking 43 horsepower gain coming out the top end of this. All right, everyone, I missed a pull on the videos, got distracted making some changes. You want to show you where we're at right now. So you can see there, we just hit 396 and 443, so a little bit of improvement. I found that one of my limiters for Lambda was still pulling a little bit of timing, so it added an extra degree back in. Now I've got a slight change, was going just a touch lean on some of the fuel trims, so we're cleaning that up right now, and I'm trying a slight change to a little bit of the cam timing itself, see if it picks up. I'll show you the next run here in just a minute. All right, new tune is on it. Flash is done. Let's hit it. see what we got. Went slightly backwards on that one. We got a little more fuel in it, but the slight cam timing change did not do anything. So I'm going to revert the cam timing, check the logs, make sure the fuel trims are fine, and I think we'll call it right there. Pump gas is going to be at 396 in 443. All right, really quick. So I just wanted to show you here. So the changes I made to fueling didn't take. So what I'm doing right now is going through and redoing what I had changed on the fuel trims to get this commanded down some further. So we're gonna make one more hit with the right commanded fuel and hopefully be done with the pump gas. We're gonna switch over to E. All right, changes are flashed. Let's make a hit here and see what we get. $397 and 443. So that is pretty much the max I'm going to be able to get out of this thing on pump 92 on this dyno with the weather right now. So let me just stop my logging here really quick. You can see down here, if I can get this to zoom back out. Let's see what our fuel trims are doing. Well, the fuel trims are still pretty lean. See if that improves any through the pole. Yeah, it started to take some. All right, let's see if we can play with this a little bit more. All right, we're going again here. Let's see if I got that fueling change to take effect this time. Yeah, it looks like maybe a little bit better, but still have some issues. Let's see if we picked anything up on the power band. $397, 443. There's no real changes there. I think we're right around where we need to be at. Let me just look at the fueling and see where we're at. All right, that's where I'm going to leave it off at. The fuel trims were fine after I started looking at it a little bit further, and this is kind of just showing where we started at on the bone stock tune from the factory to where I've got it at. So you can kind of see the torque gains and the horsepower. So we were picking up a lot out the back. So if you look at this, before we were at 321, 323 out the back, now we're at 391. So we're picking up almost 70 horsepower coming out the back. In fact, we are at above 70 horsepower on this. And we're also carrying 70 some odd foot-pounds of torque. Again, this is on pump gas. We almost made 400 wheel on 92 octane with headers and an S&B intake only. Not bad gains, guys, not bad at all. All right, we got E85 in the tank. We're gonna make the first rip, just changing the fuel back over for the headers. See what we get. 409 and 448. So didn't pick up as much as I thought we were going to, going back to the other fuel. Take a look at the logs and see what's going on. All right, we're going again here, I think. I'm just letting it warm up for a second. Adjust the tune. Trims are coming back into line. It's a little bit off because I just switched over in the fuel, and with the deadhead system, it's a little difficult to get everything out of the lines and it to run right on the first startup. Close, so we'll hit another run here and see if that clears it on out. That was my only issue, I hope. Alright, let's see, did we pick anything up that time? Pretty close to the same. 410 and 450. So we're 13 up over the E85, or the pump gas tune. So let me take a look a little more at this and see where we're not picking up more than I thought we were going to. Alright, some more changes made. Adding a little spark into this, see if that helps it, or if we're going the wrong way. Trying to figure out with these headers what they actually like. Right now we're up 12 horsepower for my pump gas tune. I would like to see this be more like 20 to 25 horsepower on a naturally aspirated build. So let's see if we can get this up to 420, 430. Here to the dyno. There we go. 414, 453. They're almost 20 horsepower up now. So it seems like we found pretty much the max of the timing and what E85 is going to do for us. So at this point, I'm focused in here at your intake valve opening and exhaust valve closing angles. Just rolling the cams an extra degree or two here in either direction. Just see if I can get it to pick up a little bit more. We'll love to see it get up to about 420, 425 on E85, which would be a solid 25 horsepower gain just on fueling with the headers and the intake on here. So again, made 396, 397 on pump gas, trying to get this thing up to 420 to 425, which would be about the fuel change. And making our hit, if I can find my button. Did. For the dyno to stop. Did we pick anything up. We did not. That went backwards. So that timing change did not make a difference. Quick Ricky maneuver on my part. I totally forgot to hit the log on that one. So we went down a little bit. So I'm not going to look at the log file because I don't have one. We're going to make an adjustment here. Try rolling the cams a little bit the other way, see if that picks anything up. Otherwise, we might have already found the happy medium. And 417 is going to be the limitation of E85 headers and S&B intake on this thing. This time with the logging going, we will make another hit. That looks a little better. Let's see if it picked up any. What is it? 410 and 447. So no pickup. Pretty much identical to the last one, so the cam roll is not helping it in either direction. So I'm going to go back to my cam timing I had before and look at some more logging. So if you look down here, you can kind of see my fuel trims are all getting back into line. Now the fuel's all adjusted and everything else, so looking pretty decent there. All right, we're going again here. We're going to see if this made a difference or not, or if we need to rethink a couple of things. Made some torque adjustments because I think it's not hitting the torque that I wanted here. So we're going to try this again. You can see the spark graph in there. It definitely pulled some timing in the middle. So let's see what it did. Oops, there we go. Where are we at? 412 and 451. Of course, it's also a little warmer right now. So we're pretty close, I think, to the same on both of those. So let's just take a look and see what the loggers are saying. Well, I screwed that up two ways. We did the pull without having the video going, and did have a log going. Let's see if we picked that up, or if we went backwards again. 413 and 451. That seems to be about the limitation of where we're at on this with the E85. All right, so rookie error. I was forgetting to log that throttle angle source. So we've added that in. It's warmed up in here a bit, so we'll see whether we get a better number. Looking at what we can do here right now at 413, just flash the tunes. You see the short-term trims bouncing around a bit. It should normalize here in just a second again. But we're gonna make another rip, see what happens. We get this to focus. You guys can watch the lovely RPM go up. Fuel trims all look good. think I found my problem. I looked like it was in torque control, that entire pole. Let's see what it did. Try to fly off the dyno. .412, 452. I think we're in torque control, guys. Let me take a look at this and figure out why we're there. All right, got this thing fired up again. Again, the trims are just evening out after we just got it started. I think I was hitting a torque ratio clip that was preventing it from doing a couple of things. So we're gonna see if I got those out of the way now. It's hopeful that this is gonna take care of the issue and we'll be able to actually pick up a little bit more out of the E85. Let's see what we got. .414 and 453. So it looks like that might just be the maximum that we can get out of this thing naturally aspirated. It does look like it's picking up and carrying everywhere. You can see the blue line is previous, which made the 398. You can kind of see down here, we did pick up a fair amount of mid-range horsepower and out the back. So might just be done at that point. All right, we took a short little break there, let the truck cool off some. Made one last change here, want to see if it makes any difference. We're gonna make one rip. See, the temps have come down just a bit in here, and see if this made a difference on a little bit of a cam timing change. Otherwise, I think the 20 horsepower that we are making out the back and everything else across is pretty much where we're gonna be. Did we pick up any? 413, 453, pretty much identical, so the little bit of cam timing made no difference on here. Looks like that is the number we're gonna end up at, is that 414. All right, we're still beating the snot out of my test mule here today. We got one last thing we're trying. You can see the fuel trims are still a little off down on idle. We just reflashed it. A couple of things to note for you guys. If you are looking at doing this stuff, you're gonna want to angle, throttle angle source, the VCT schedule, your spark source. So all of this stuff is kind of important to take a look at. Make sure why you're running into a limit. Pretty sure I was getting a torque clip, and one of the channels I was not logging initially because I forgot that I didn't have it on this one was the throttle angle source. So that's on there now. We're gonna make another rip here on E85, see if we pick up or decline, and potentially call it a day after this one. it felt a little better, like maybe it pulled it out the back. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. 415, 452. That seems to be the max we're able to get to. So, fixed my little bit of torque clip in the middle of this thing, which brought it up, I think. Show you one after we close out all the extra graphs to make sure we're on the right one. All right, everybody, we're gonna leave it right here so you can see the whole graph. As we come down, you can see max power. This was the original E85 tune that I did. We made 398 and 443. The revised version's making 415 and 452. You can see on the torque, we're making 35 foot-pounds more torque up through the mid-range on this and carrying it out the back. So it's picked up all the way across the board. So peak torque is not up a ton, right? We're only up peak 9 foot-pounds. When we look at it here, we picked up 35 foot-pounds of torque in the mid-range, and down here on the horsepower, you can see that we're also picking up 30 horsepower during this mid-range time too, and then we carry it on out the back, right? So as we carry out the back here, you can see we are carrying, why am I not getting a comparison? Here we go. 15 foot-pounds here. You can see on this one, we are carrying about 15 horsepower out the back of this too. So we're gaining some out the back, but a lot in the mid-range here as it's coming through it. So we'll get a rip on this on the quarter mile here soon and see what it picked up on timing-wise from that.